اتفرجت حلمية تاع المرة كيزو كتابية. ودي كرتون الشيخ سابع
for this opening game in Group E. Neuer is a goal for Germany. It'll be a back four as Rudiger, Schlotterbeck and Müller and Diala behind Havertz. For Japan, in fact, 13 of the 22 starting players here actually play their football in Germany. 8 for the Mannschaft, 5 Itakura, the defence, Endo, Kamada, Tanaka, the midfield with Kubo to the left, Celtics, Dyson Maida up front. And the 5 who ply their trade in Germany. And certainly Duffer is somebody who the Germans might just have to. The German players will know very, very well to be very familiar with. Is a outstanding start to his season in the Bundesliga, but got a lot of good technicians in this Japanese team, and I think the Germans are in for a real game. They got knocked out in 2018 in the group stage, finished bottom of the group, so they're going to have a big test this afternoon. Germany in their white shorts, and our referee is from El Salvador, Ivan Barton, who has been supported with Mauro Vigliano, who is the Argentinian VAR. And in the Japanese support, where there is a huge banner supporting the name of Gonda, the goalkeeper, there is a drummer who is creating a real din away towards our right-hand side. And in fact, Suichi Gonda recognises that little fan club of his. He puts his hands together and he bows with an acknowledgement of appreciation. Yeah, what do the other banners say? That Chris Sutton can be annoying at times. So Chris Sutton is with us here for what is the second of our 4 commentaries. We've got Spain and Costa Rica, the other game in Group E to come. 4 o'clock to be followed tonight with Belgium against Canada in Group F. But Germany, who were humiliated in Russia 4 years ago, look for redemption. 4 times winners of this tournament. They are playing left to right against Japan, who will certainly make for a difficult group. There will be no easy run Japan or indeed Spain in Group E. Rudiger at the heart of that German defence, recovering from a hip problem. Müller shaking off groin injury, but there's no Sane, who's been ruled out with a knee injury, as it's a very slow start from Germany back towards Neuer. Follow away towards our left-hand side. And I mentioned that drum. That might well be a backdrop to our commentary throughout, as their arms are waving in that small block of blue away towards our right-hand side. Schlotterbeck lifts it forward for Germany. Müller up against Nagatomo, the left back with his dyed red hair, and that bouncing ball will have to be headed away by Neuer outside of his goal. But for Nagatomo, certainly a proud moment. He's now 36 years of age, but he's the first Japanese player to appear in 4 World Cup finals, and ever present in the previous 3. As here is Gnabry to the edge of the area, cleared away by the Japanese defence. He just picks up that ball. What a central area. You expect that
that front four of Germany to rotate a little bit, Chris.
Yeah, they'll be very fluid. They've started off with Havertz as the central striker.
Oh, that wasn't dealt with at all. Across on the left-hand side, Müller with his back to goal, played it a long way back to Rudiger. Now to the burly Fipsula, the right back. Gnabry on the inside and cleared away and swept to safety from it was Yoshida who got his foot through that. 34 years of age, the captain. Nearly 200 appearances in 8 seasons at Southampton, at a time at Sampdoria, but now one of the players playing in Germany for Schalke. As Germany seeing a lot of the ball with Schlotterbeck now, and then Kimmich playing in the midfield comes over and takes over.
Yeah, the Germans set up as a 4-2-3. Kimmich been doing those deeper lying roles. We'll see Ram on that left-hand side, the left back. Better going forward, I think it's fair to say, than defensively. But up top, Havertz is the central striker. Müller just in behind him with Musiala off that left-hand, Gnabry off the right-hand side.
Well, Chris, you were in Kazan, weren't you, when South Korea pulled off that upset to knock Germany out of the group stage. And indeed, you watched Japan give Belgium a real scare as well. Was it in the last 6 years?
Yeah, last they were 2-1, weren't they?
As Maeda tries to get on the back of Rudiger. That was a good old foot chase there for the Saints, the former Chelsea defender Rudiger.
Yeah, that's his strength. Jason Maeda, his pace. He'll make those runs in behind. His hold-up play isn't. But Japan have got some players, some really talented players in the middle of the park who will look to get on the half turn and slide balls into Jason Maeda, who will make those runs.
There was the customary team photo ahead of the game, and while Germany posed for their team photo, they put their hands over their mouths as across from the right hand side from Junior Ito gets a corner kick. Signal one of the German players put their hands over their mouths for the team photo, and we say that the German FA, being supported by Denmark, are looking at possible legal action. Certainly earlier in the week, Germany, the federation, said that all of the associations, in the words of the German FA, came under extreme blackmail to drop the One Love armband. So that's been a ruffle on. Corner kick to Japan, far side the right, outswing, headed away by Gnabry, and out of play it goes for a throw. 5 minutes in, BBC Radio 5 Live. BBC Sounds as well, not just for the live commentary, but also for the World Cup Daily podcast. And indeed, Match of the Day's top 10. Episode 10 is actually out now, but episode 5, if you wish to rewind, that's going to cause great debates in light of Saudi Arabia's victory against Argentina yesterday, because Gary Lineker and co were discussing the biggest World Cup upsets. Cameroon, Argentina, Senegal, France. So much World Cup material at your leisure. And of course, BBC Sounds, you can listen to the commentary and then just scroll through the website as well as listen. Minutes played here so far, 0-0, and it's been a slow start, Chris Sutton.
Yes, I was tentative from Germany. Japan just eating the way into this game. They've set up with a back four, and then Waturo Endo just sitting in front of that back four, with the enforcer in there, getting the screens on, stopping those balls into the likes of Havertz up top for Germany.
He was into the game with Tura and defensive midfielder for Stuttgart. He's certainly a player who they were able to get on. There was another doubt over Matoma of Brighton and Hove Albion. Endo recovered from concussion, but Matoma had a little bit of illness. He is on the bench. The Brighton player who's certainly impressed in the early stages of his career at the Amex. As for Arsenal's Tomiyasu, rested against Canada last week with a calf problem, not fit enough to start. Nagatomo clears away for Japan. He hoists that high and it drops towards Kimmich to Gundogan. Central area of the Japan half. Dispossessed though there by Kamada, who now runs forward. He's got Ito away to his right-hand side. Here is Ito, plays it in by Ida! Flags him on the far side. And the Japan celebrations are cut short very, very quickly from that flag that was raised on the right. It was an excellent break by Japan. And of course it will go to VAR.
He was offside. It wasn't a great run from Maida. Sort of stealing the ball off Gundogan and just popping the ball out right to
well off.
But there's no reason for it to be offside in that position. Ian just gets beyond Rudiger as the cross comes in. It's a brilliant cross, but Maida's looking across the line there. Needed to. But that's a warning to this German team. This is the way Japan are going to try and do it this afternoon. They'll be difficult to play through. They'll sit a little bit deep at times, and then they'll look to counter.
In the build-up with Mark Chapman, that this German you can get, that was a prime example. It was good. Gundogan possessed in the midfield. Kamada carried the ball forward, out towards the right. And as Chris Sutton says, if Tyson Maida just times that run better, he would have had a real opportunity for the goal. I mean, he put it away well, but he was a good yard offside.
And he's behind Rudiger. The ball's on the right-hand side. Rudiger, the right centre half. He's behind him. Should look across and time to run much better. But the issue Germany have is because Ram, the left back, plays so high up the pitch. There's a huge space on that right-hand channel.
Ito was back. It's interesting when that drum stops beating. We said about feast or famine with the atmospheres. Bearing in mind that there doesn't appear to be too many very quiet. This has just been proven there when that drum stops. For the stadium, with the exception of the top tier over on the far side that is still in the late afternoon sunshine. Felt very hot today in Doha, around 28 degrees, but certainly inside the stadium very cool. The air conditioning working extremely well. They cool the pitch, certainly around 21 degrees. Certainly will never go above 27 inside the stadium, so that will never be a problem in any of the 8 stadiums that are being used. This, of course, was the one that existed before Qatar won the rights to host the World Cup. Remember coming here with England against Brazil in a friendly in 2009, although it has had a little bit of redevelopment work since then. But it's 0-0. You're listening to 5 Live, also available on BBC Sounds, as the ball is picked up in the midfield for Musiala in a central area. Because he comes central, it creates a little bit of space for round the left back to venture forward. And he's quite high over on that far side, the Germany left.
He's playing like a left winger, isn't he? Playing like a left back, so high up, but that's the space the Germans leave. On the counter, Schlotter back just stepping in there.
Blonde-haired defender into Ram. Gundogan. Ball now finds the left back. The challenge is quick to come in on that far side, and Japan deal with it well. It was Tanaka who was helping out on that far side. Ito's forward ball. Kamada was going forward. Just stepping out of defence was Rudiger to beat the Japanese midfielder to the ball. And it's back with Schlotterbeck once again, and we've been playing for 11 minutes.
Yeah, all the good play from Japan has come down that right-hand side, but looking forward to seeing Takefusa Kubo, really young, talented player, plays his football in Spain.
Musiala gets around the back on that far side, the left. Ball is dug out and cleared. Out of play it goes for a throw. That was Endo who was back there helping out. Musiala, who really is a terrific talent, in excellent form for Bayern. 12 goals he scored in his 22 games for Bayern. And you look at the front 6 of this Germany side, 4 of them actually play for Bayern, so there's a real influence in this German side. One of them was Kimmich, challenged up to the edge of the area. Ball played away On the edge of the area by Itakura, Yoshida's fellow central defender. Schlotterbeck, forward. Kimmich, central area. Back out to Schlotterbeck. Raum holding his line, trying to playing him in, but that was again cut out by Sakai, the right back, and then Ito hits it long. And as Chris has said, Maeda of Celtic is quite fast. He's hard running. On occasion, he was an unwilling runner. It's too far over his shaven head and through towards Neuer.
What they are doing, who's looking to break as well, making those forward runs.
Sometimes you feel as if you're in a footballing library. You hear so silent, waiting for something to happen as Musiala runs in off the back of his man, and now on that left-hand side gets the ball back to Kimmich, able to turn. Kimmich shot. It was a good block.
Tanaka, wasn't it? Made the block. Kimmich, just for a second, looked like had a shooting opportunity 25 yards out. Had a shot with his right foot, but crucial block from Tanaka.
Rudiger onto the ball, round the centre circle, goes out wide to Nicholas Schuler, formerly of Bayern. Now we saw him in the Champions League for Borussia Dortmund. Joshua Kimmich now chips the ball out towards Raum, but easily headed away by Sakai. An unchallenged leap forward. At the minute, it's Germany who are picking up all those balls.
Really well organised, as we expected, looking to pounce and counter. Interesting call soon at right back from Hansi Flick. He has played there predominantly for Dortmund this season, but doesn't look the most mobile, does he? Sometimes big guys like him don't, but Kehrer had the option of playing Kehrer, West Ham's Kehrer in that right back position. I think we were told before the game, he's one of the 10th quickest players in the Bundesliga.
Yeah, slow to get going.
Yeah, a little bit like me. The Bundesliga.
Yeah, slow to get going.
Yeah, a little bit like me.
You mentioned Kehrer played. I know you dismissed the warm-up game against Oman last week, but Kehrer did play as the right back in that game.
Well, and you think that was a huge advantage for the Germans going into this tournament, playing a friendly against Oman, who were ranked 75th.
Not quite sure they were my words, but I'm not going to argue with you.
Yeah, I'd like to play that back. I think we can go, if you've got BBC Sounds, I think we can play that back.
The manager will be pleased with that one. That's an unusual trail for BBC Sound.
Take the World Cup with you.
Yeah. You can't forward wind, but you rewind. Corner kick to Germany, 0-0.
This is where they have height advantage, don't they, the Germans?
15 minutes played, corner kick to Germany. The Japanese supporters with a beat to the drum. Our Salvadorian referee, Ivan Barton, was just having a word there with a couple of players. Schlotterbeck was one of them. I think he was up against Endo. So we're waiting for the corner kick to be delivered. In it comes now from the left. Plenty of height on it. Rudiger with a header. Just drops wide. Must have been about 10 yards out. Quite deep inside the penalty area. And it was dropping at what would have been the near post as we look. The right-hand post from our position here in the main stand in the Khalifa International Stadium. But it dropped wide, it'll be a goal kick, and it remains goalless.
I don't think it's a great header at all. It goes wide, but Rudiger should head that back, trying to head it into the far corner, not trying to beat the keeper at his near post, and then maybe the likes of Havertz or some of the other German players in the box could attack it and get a touch and go back across the goalkeeper in that situation.
Suichi Gonda, the goalkeeper, all in green away towards our right-hand side, but looking to try and hit the ball out towards the right. He went central, Germany now they've lost it, and it's with Endo who plays it back to Yoshida, and he goes all the way back to the goalkeeper, who's got enough time to control it with a right-footed touch, and then strikes it right-footed and floats the ball out towards the far side for the royal blue of Japan, who are playing from right to left, but they've lost the ball again in the midfield, and there was a clear sign of frustration there from H. Kamara, 26-year-old midfielder. As we're back now to a walking pace as it remains 0-0 in these opening 17 minutes on BBC Radio 5 Live. Morocco nil,
Nigeria.
goalless draw in the World Cup. When you sort of like you tempt fate and you message one of the bosses and you go, don't worry, rest assured this one won't end goalless. And I said that with a degree of faith, because none of the last 50 World Cup matches involving Germany goalless. The last goalless draw was actually 1986, a quarter-final against Mexico. So I speak with a degree of confidence that we will have a goal in this game here in the Khalifa Stadium. I've been wrong many times before, as a free kick goes against Japan, and Moriyasu, 54-year-old coach who was appointed in August 2018 for Japan, turned away in frustration. He's uttering a word towards the fourth official as Shotterbeck comes forward now for Germany. Every outfield player is in the Japan half as Gundogan's ball towards Gnabry with a cutback on the volley. Yoshida first time throws it away. The ball is headed forward by Zula towards Kimmich, but it was Havertz with the challenge, and that was on Takafusa Kubo. A free kick to Japan, and it's been a very quiet opening 19 minutes 0-0.
Gary Cage, I think Japan will be waiting to go. Just had to be watchful in that situation. Gnabry will see him more than the other German forwards make those runs in behind. Japanese back line there, just getting the run on Nagatomo. Pass from Gundogan, but Yoshida, right place at the right time to make the clearance.
The familiar voice of Chris Sutton with us here on Radio 5 Live. Musiala far side to left. Schlotterbeck goes back to Rudiger. Now it's with Müller, little touch from Thomas Müller. Gundogan just outside the centre circle of his own half, and Sula's diagonal ball to Kimmich. A couple of touches to Gundogan. Now to Musiala, again drifting into a central area. Brown, little flick back towards Musiala. Excellent challenge coming in, and then a shot from Kimmich, beat out by the goalkeeper. And then the rebound comes out.
Has he known offside?
Offside. Flag was up
He
on
did.
the side.
I think he didn't point to the spot for a push, didn't he, initially? The referee, when the shot came in,
It was Kimmich who fouled this. It was a very good save, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a good save.
Broke to it quickly.
Clever little flick initially from Gundogan, but he's offside. And he's shoved when he gets the shot in. Gundogan shoved from behind, but all irrelevant because he was offside. Have a look. It's a decent hit from Kimmich. Puts his laces through the ball.
He reacted well, Suichi Gonda, away towards his right-hand side, because it broke very, very quickly to Joshua Kimmich, who last scored against Italy in June, and he only had one thing on his mind. It was a powerful drive. But then as the ball came back, there was an offside. Now, ball inside from... It was Kubo who popped up on the right-hand side. They've got another corner kick here, Japan, as a result. Still 0-0, 21 minutes played, 5 live.
Yeah, it was really good pressing from Kubo. Sloppy from Schlotterbeck, and Kubo gets away from down that right-hand side, and Maeda had the run on Sula in the middle. Unfortunately for Japan, Kubo hit Rudiger, and the ball goes behind for a corner to Japan. Just needed more care on the cross there, Kubo. The Japanese Messi is known as.
Well, let's see if he can conjure up something like Messi. As cross comes in, and it was aimed towards Itakura. Does play in his football in Spain, but not at Barcelona. Real Sociedad.
Should have been a corner there, I think. Germans awarded with goal kick. Yeah, it came for German defender there, didn't it? Went behind, Ram, off Ram, the back of Ram.
Two more games to come for you as the matches continue to come thick and fast on 5 Live throughout this World Cup, wherever BBC Sounds is live. Spain, Costa Rica from 4. Vicky Sparks and Rob Green, John Murray and Dion Dublin at 7. We'll watch Belgium against Canada. But this is the opening game in Group E. The winners of this will take on those in Group F, where already Morocco 0, Croatia 0 in the last 16 as the ball was Musiala again. Central, Kimmich out towards Gnabry, high off the chest, right hand side, midway through the Japan half. Sula joins the attack. Japan, though, defending in numbers and defending well. Haven't really had much joy so far, Germany, have they? Certainly not on this right side.
Haven't really opened the Japanese back line up. It's all at the effort from Kimmich, 25 yards, decent save from Gonda. That's been about it. They are getting more joy on the left-hand side. More or less a back three when they're in possession now. Wow, so high up on that left-hand side. Just quickness of passing. It's maybe what they've been lacking, the Germans, through the middle of the park.
Here is Schlotterbeck. Gave away both penalties when England played Germany in the Nations League in Munich and at Wembley. Gundogan, little ball threaded through. Musiala, darting run. Nice little ball inside towards Muller. Muller returned it, but Japan repelled the attack. However, Brown forward, inside, Havertz down towards the byline, looking for the cutback. Into the penalty area it goes. Itakura, missed by Sakai, the right back, with his attempted clearance from Itakura's header in his direction. And Germany get a throw over on that far side. It was a very expansive stadium, this, the Khalifa International Stadium. And it is going to be a throw to Germany, but not much urgency. And in fact, I just wonder if the referees told them they can't take the throw because they're looking for something through VAR, because there is a definite pause in play. Hard to see what any infringement would have been.
Possible penalty.
A possible penalty check. So here comes the Argentinian Mauro Italiano, and it was for endless sliding in on Havertz, but plays back underway, and it was a relatively, by VAR standards, a quick check. Decision to the fact that players resumed. I think we were able to work that one out. 25 minutes.
I hadn't worked that one out.
Here is Schlotterbeck. By the way, we talked before about the Germany team photo, and that every player had put their hands over their mouths. Germany's, on their social media feed, have said we wanted to use our captain's armband to take a stand for values that we hold in the Germany national team: diversity and mutual respect. With other nations, we wanted our voice to be heard. I just break off because Kimmich on the edge of the area plays the ball out towards Gnabry. Gnabry with the cross over the head of Havertz. Round, tees it up. Gundogan shot, charged down. Kimmich heads it into the penalty area, and Itakura clears the ball away, and it remains 0-0. And I'll continue to read the rest of that statement, and it continues. It wasn't about making a political statement. Human rights are non-negotiable. That should be taken for granted, but it still isn't the case. That's why this message is so important to us. Denying us the armband is the same as denying us a voice. We stand by our position. Armband or no armband, we stand by our position, was the caption underneath that team photo. And just to reiterate, they are looking at legal action against FIFA. You're listening to 5 Live and BBC Sounds. It's 0-0. Back to the action. Musiala in the penalty area. Brown in support. Sakai with a clearance, the right back. They're getting a lot of joy down that left.
They are getting a lot of joy, but you got to credit the Japanese back line and the midfield. They're working so hard. They are so disciplined. Tracking the German runners. There's always a runner going in behind from the German forward areas.
Here is Gundogan. Gundogan, an extremely silent stadium, to Sula, his forward ball. First time layoff by Havertz. Muller was under pressure. Ball went back to the edge of the centre circle, but Rudiger was there. Germany still in possession. Gnabry with a little dummy, runs through towards Muller on the right-hand side. He now cuts it back to Gnabry, in towards Gundogan's first time shot. And Gonda with a save.
Yeah, it's a really clever piece of play from Gnabry initially. Let the ball run between his legs. Muller, who was beyond him, cuts the ball back inside. One touch, two touches to Gundogan. He's 25 yards out. He tries to whip the ball in, beat under at his near post, but it's quite a tame effort. It's a long way out, 25 yards out, and Gonda gathers.
Schlotterbeck with the throw on the far side. Rudiger, quite pleased with that one, aren't you? Here is Gundogan to Rudiger.
Aren't they strange, these hushes which happen every
It's quite eerie, I've got to say. Gnabry. Gundogan, man over, is Raum, plays the ball into him. Raum goes, fires it in towards the near post, comes out towards Gundogan, that's blocked, cleared away by Endo inside the penalty area. They're just starting to knock on the door of Germany. Raum with another cross, headed out this time by Itakura and out for a throw. But again, how much space did Raum have as it was played into him on that left-hand side?
Do you know what? I think it's a really poor pass out to Raum. I think Gundogan could have taken the pace off it a little bit. But Raum fires across in left-footed. Out smartly diving, pushes the ball away, and then Japanese cleared the ball eventually.
Now they are on the attack with Kubo on this left-hand side, but he's just simply wrestled away by Rudiger, and then Kubo found. But that was just. I mean, it's a little bit.
You've probably been in that position a few times.
Well, I would imagine that Rudiger would have, bearing in mind the physical mismatch between he and Kubo, that would be quite easy. I think he wouldn't have lifted me off the ground as easily. Although I have lost nearly a stone in weight. Half an hour play. Here is Sula. He definitely wouldn't have lifted Sula off the ground. Sula is that burly, he could indeed be a doorman on a nightclub with his broad shoulders. But at a walking pace, we go once again for Germany in possession, slowly, patiently, building from the back. 15 minutes to go to half-time.
See, they are a back three when they're in possession. Gnabry staying wide on that right-hand touchline. Raum really wide on the left.
Here is Kimmich. Kimmich to Raum. Raum completely unmarked, enters the penalty area. Was he fouled by the goalkeeper? The referee says yes. And a penalty. Raum took it away from Gonda. Gonda clipped him. And the Salvadorian referee gives a penalty to Germany.
Well, he gave the penalty, the referee, and then he looked like he was a little bit unsure, but I thought Gonda, he looked guilty, didn't he? That left-hand side, it's a brilliant ball clipped in. Good run from Raum. They haven't dealt with him. They're checking it. There has to be sufficient contact for a player to go down. Yeah, I think he catches him, doesn't he? Gonda is saying he didn't, but looks like there was enough contact.
That must, Chris, that must be the third, at least the third time that Raum has been in a position like that with so much space around him.
Well, I think that Sakai, he's playing so narrow as a right back. Musiala takes him on the inside, and then it's really important that Ito stays disciplined. He switched off, and Raum had a lot of joy down that left, made the run, took a decent first touch, drew the goalkeeper Gonda, and now big chance for the Germans. They don't miss penalties.
İlkay Gündoğan certainly doesn't. He's yet to miss for Germany. Well, that was a delayed reaction from the crowd when it came up with a penalty for VAR on the big screen. Gündoğan against Gonda. Gündoğan runs up now and scores. Sends Gonda the wrong way, and Germany have their opening goal at the 2022 World Cup. And it's 7 out of 7 for İlkay Gündoğan from the spot, and Germany lead 1-0.
Yep, we all expected that outcome. Cool as you like, Gündoğan shapes to go to Gonda's left, whips it across him to his right-hand side. Gonda goes left. Confident penalty. The Germans getting the joy down that left-hand side. Doesn't go right in the corner. Pretty centrally, but Gonda's gone. 1-0 to the Germans.
He was unable to gather it in, and as he dived away, it left a gaping hole from Gonda for Gündoğan with the goal. And it's 1-0 to Germany. I can't get my head around the atmosphere. It's like we were ready for the penalty to be taken, and everybody was obsessed with giant screen. And when it said VAR goal given, then they were cheering that decision rather than realising
the ball was
on the spot.
On the penalty spot. That was really strange. You should get the idea if you watch football regularly that when somebody puts the ball on the penalty spot, it means penalty.
So Germany lead by a goal to 0. 5 Live and BBC Sounds here. 11 minutes to go to half time. And Japan, who we haven't really seen much as a great deal of ambition so far from a Japan team that was certainly free scoring in qualifying, a record 58 goals. They won 15 of their 18 games.
They've been
passive.
Yes, they have been, but they've set up the counter-attack, and it's all very well, isn't it, at 0-0. I'm not too sure things will change too much at 1-0 at this stage, but they have been too passive.
Sakai on the overlap. Good ground on that right-hand side, but it was Raum who was back with him doing his defensive duties. He's hardly played as a left-back throughout the whole game so far, but on that occasion he did take it away off the toes of the Japanese right-back. And Japan, who haven't really done anything in open play, have now got a corner kick on that far side, the right to take it, which Kamada is going to take. So this should be an outswinger if he takes it with his right foot on that far side, the right. Blue shirts, white shorts from right to left as we look. And we've got under 10 minutes to go to half-time. Kamada, it is an outswinger, and it's headed out by a commanding Rudiger. And then Nagatomo with the back pass to Gonda, the goalkeeper. He plays it forward to Nagatomo, who is quickly being chased by 3 white shirts. So Japan have to quickly clear the ball, and now they win it through Sakai. Leaps into the air. The referee has played the advantage, and it's a good advantage too, because Japan now with Kubu scoops the ball in towards the penalty area, but Gündoğan was back there helping out, off his chest, and now it's up to Musiala. Musiala to Gnabry on the halfway line, on this near side to right, out for a throw, and it will be a Germany throw.
Kubo should have made much more of that. Kamada, he made the initial challenge. I just wonder whether the referee's going to revisit the challenge on Kamada. It's a strong challenge, was it, from Schlotterbeck? No card, but Kubo had the opportunity to whip the ball in earlier, took an extra touch. The Germans got defenders back in numbers. Let's make more of those opportunities.
Yes, they certainly do, because they've been few and far between in this first half, and we've been playing for 37 minutes here in the Khalifa International Stadium, where Germany lead by a goal to 0 from the penalty spot, taken by Manchester City's İlkay Gündoğan. It is with Ito, far side the right. No impression whatsoever. Germany dealing with that threat. And Kimmich to Gundogan. I can actually hear a fella shouting from the far side. It takes you back to when you used to commentate playing behind closed doors. If you've just tuned on or tuned 5 Live now or BBC Sounds, and you're thinking, how many's in this stadium? Not many empty seats. You wouldn't think 45,000. Gnabry shoots from distance. That was blocked. Ball played out. Now it's with Havertz, right corner of the area, to Thomas Muller. Muller sends over the cross, left-footed. Ito was back there helping out. Schlotterbeck. 25 yards out, Musiala with the shot, up in the air, punched down to the ground by Gonda. Comes on to have a go at goal there as Gonda was having to reach to his goal line. Very, very comfortable.
This moment in time, Japan eventually will have to change their game plan. They're happy with the defended numbers and break out, but the Germans have that swagger, that arrogance. No, the issue with the crowd. It's one of our producers last evening. It's a ball for a crowd, isn't it? Prawn Sandwich Brigade.
Well, actually, there's probably more empty seats in the corporate boxes. Like you, I'm not surprised with the eye-watering prices that you charged in there, but there doesn't appear to be too many in those burgundy seats in the. I mean, there's a large chunk of royal blue on the far side, but the Japanese support are silent.
Yeah, well, they're losing. But it may be the lack of alcohol as well in the stadiums. People get louder after a drink, don't they?
No. 6 minutes into the second half. Well, they could that Japanese travelling support needs to take a lesson from the Red Wall, because when Wales support they were behind the other night against the United States, they never stopped singing. As Kubo is forward, but he won't keep that ball in play. Actually, he does with the cutback. Now it's a late flag. Didn't think he had. He's actually gone down with an injury as well. There isn't much. Where there's a switch from the turf to the artificial turf, that can cause problems for players. You haven't got much.
I mean, it's the same in in English stadiums, isn't it? There's a couple of yards of grass. Of Old Trafford, they've got those little slopes, haven't they?
Yeah, the camber.
Yeah, players of great pace. Up to speed, it's hard to decelerate.
Germany 1, Japan 0. Gundogan from the penalty spot. The German supporters away towards our left are trying to start off a Mexican way. There's an atmosphere breaking out. Here is Gnabry on this near side, the right.
It's not a wave breaking out. That was Ever, wasn't it? Stopped.
Yeah. Well, maybe, what do you say, the corporate brigade aren't used to tossing their prawn sandwiches in the air. Here is Gundogan. Gundogan from distance, charged down and picked up. And it's eventually taking off. It started off as a ripple, and now all of a sudden it's sweeping around this vast stadium that holds 45,500 people here inside the Khalifa Stadium, where Germany lead by a goal to 0. And it's with Musiala around the game, marauding back towards Musiala. He goes off to Muller, back towards Kimmich. He laid it off just inside the D. Kimmich outside the D, right-footed shot, always on the rise. And it will go out for a goal kick.
They're in total control. There's the wave again. It's going round now. It's going all the way round now, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm tempted to join in. Japan playing at such a sedate pace. It's actually had that feel to it throughout. There's got to be a little bit more intensity for Japan. Free kick has been given to Germany. As it continues to go around the ground. Brown seen so much the ball with the cross, aimed towards Muller in the area, picked up by Gonda.
I think that's the criticism the manager, Moriyasu, that sets his team up quite negatively. If they want to get back in, do this game, have to try and take the game to the Germans much more, go toe to toe. That will happen, but they won't want to concede a second.
Remember being in Moscow 4 years ago when Germany lost their opening game to Mexico. First time that they've lost an opening game since 1982. On the balance of what we've witnessed so far in these 43 minutes, there's no chance of Germany losing this one. They lead by a goal to nil. There's every chance that we'll have to hope something along to resume presenting duties as Kitty close the ball forward. Musiala keeps the ball in play. He takes it out of the penalty area on the right-hand side. The cross from Gnabry headed back by Raum. Matura's headed away over the edge of the area. Musiala plays it in towards Raum. That was risky from him, so let it go across his body. He's actually conceded possession. He had a chance to clear it, but he's given it back to Germany with Raum, the left back, who's played really as a left winger throughout the first half. Such has been the dominance of Germany all in white, playing their white shirts and black shorts from left to right. Here is the there's no Chetty in the game. No Chetty from Japan.
No, just trying to hang on in there, stay in the game. That's the game plan, but you have to be adaptable. Maybe that will come, but they are playing with such fear, so tense, they don't give the Germans anything to think about. The Germans totally dominant.
Ball played out by Neuer to Schlotterbeck. Ball about 25 yards out from his own goal. He's over the halfway line and he's now midway through the Japan half as he lays it off towards Gundogan. We hear German voices inside the Khalifa International Stadium. Germany lead by a goal to nil. Musiala shot down, the shot right footed on the rise, just on the edge of the area. Couldn't keep it down. Goal kick, 1-0 Germany, close to half time.
Yeah, razor sharp from Musiala. Gets on the half turn, dynamic, creates a half a yard of space. Should do better with the shot. Ball's twisted in by Kimmich. Itakura, who comes out, tries to shut him down, but quick touch with it outside of his right foot away, and then he lifts the ball well over Gonda's bar.
4 minutes of added on time in the first half. As there's another stoppage, Sakai has gone down on the far side. I wouldn't have said 4 minutes.
What would you have said?
60 seconds. One stoppage with an injury, no substitutions. What is it that the people are watching?
I don't mind it. I don't mind it, you know. It's time waste. You just want your pie. That's what you're thinking about.
Argentina, Saudi Arabia, I think they played about 15 minutes of stoppage time in the second half. That's like having a game that's the period of extra time. It's 1-0 to Germany. We're in stoppage time here in Qatar. BBC Radio 5 Live. And it's a throw to Japan on the halfway line.
They've shown such a lack of ambition. Maybe it'll come in the second half.
Enters the penalty area, pulls it back to Gnabry. Gnabry drops to the left corner of the area. Raum's available to him. Level with the penalty area. Here he is. He goes inside. Musiala, always sharp. Square. Pulled back. Sula joins the attack. The right back. Thought about the dig. Didn't. Lays it out towards Müller. Crosses around knee height. Hard for Kimmich to control that ball inside the penalty area. And Japan will get it away. But he's going to keep coming back at them. How much Germany, and bearing in mind when it comes to the criteria of the group, goal difference could be key, and this potentially could be a difficult group. I would think that Germany would want more goals than just the one that they've got so far.
Yeah. That pretty much sums up Japan's first half performance at Yoshida, getting the ball edge of his own box, nothing than just punting a ball into the channel. Eventually it goes out of play. I mean, it may as well Japan if they're going to be this negative.
A sense of adventure surely awaits in the second half. Wales were poor in the first half against the US the other night, but they put in a much improved performance. Coach changed things from page. Incidentally, Friday's when Wales and England are next back in action. Four today. Still got Spain, Costa Rica in this group to cover 4, followed by Belgium, Canada at 7, and then tomorrow Switzerland, Cameroon, Brazil, Serbia. That's at 7 o'clock. Many of the favourites for Brazil against Serbia, Uruguay, South Korea, Portugal, Ghana in Group H. Are you doing a game tomorrow?
I'm doing a game every day for the next 3 months, I think.
Yeah.
Germany. Chance maybe in this stoppage time to increase their lead. Gnabry picks it up, runs into the
deserve to go in at the break.
They're looking for the flag, but the flag has stayed down. Certainly, VAR will have a look as it was crossed from the left-hand side. It was a simple tap-in for Kai Havertz. He did have a little glance around, but Japan never dealt with the danger.
No, the ball stood up from Muller and has headed away. Kimmich with a left-footed shot. He is offside.
Won't count.
Yeah, it's Musiala. I don't know whether it's a shot or a cross, and Havertz centrally, just beyond. I think it's Yoshida. Yeah, it's a shot, I think, from the wide area.
As the shot came in initially, it was saved by the goalkeeper. Musiala then from the left-hand side. But the assistant referee never raised his flag at all, even late.
So what's going on here then?
The VAR are having a look again.
I mean, all the players are set up to kick off again, aren't they, from the centre circle? There we go. They're taking the time, aren't they?
Well, I was going to say, for a VAR check, that surely happened.
Maybe we'll see another wave around the stadium.
Well, certainly it's a let off for Japan because they'd have been 2-0 down the way they played in the first half. But Kai Havertz goal in first half stoppage time ruled out for offside. Nagatomo with a cross from the left, and the header just wide. It was Maeda, 12 yards out. Just tried to glance it by adjusting his upper body.
Deutschland!
Deutschland! The right hand post, far side, 1-0 Germany.
Yeah, Nagatomo just creating a little bit of space. Chops inside on his right foot, whips the ball in, and yeah, Maeda 10 yards out. It's a difficult one because it's behind him and he's just trying to use the pace of the ball. It's an in-swinger to direct it on target, but it goes wide. There's the half-time whistle.
Half-time, Germany leads Japan by a goal to 0. Japan had a goal ruled out for offside in the early stages after 8 minutes. It was Itu with the cross, Maeda, a good yard offside, and then Gundogan with a penalty put Germany ahead after 33 minutes, and then Germany had a goal quite rightly ruled out offside for Havertz from Clinch in first half stoppage time. So, half time here at the Khalifa International Stadium. It's Germany 1, Japan 0. Chris?
Please subscribe.
Did you take your headphones off? What would you do?
No, I just, I don't know, there was some sort of silence there, and myself and Ian looked at each other bemused, as we have done for most of the first
Subscribe
half.
the channel.
Performance as much as anything. It's been a strange performance from Japan. We know they like to counter-attack, but they've shown a real lack of ambition, especially after the German goal. Germany have had a lot of joy, haven't they, down that left-hand side. I think it was a penalty. Ram was brought down as a Gonda gap. And then Germany have just dominated and, nearly had the second just before half-time. What do we know? We know that Japan have to be more adventurous in this second half and risk losing the game to try and get back in the game. But I've been slightly disappointed with Japan's reaction after the first goal more than anything, because, it's okay to set up and try and keep things tight. And, we understand that, and it's okay to set up the counter-attack. But the goal changes everything. And, I'm sure second half, well, I'm not sure second half, but I'd like to think that the Japanese, who have some really creative players, show more intent in the second period.
You've both talked about the crowd during that first half. Do you think at all some of the crowd noise doesn't sound very authentic to me? And I thought that during the England game at that stadium.
Do you know what? I've got a suspicion that the section where they are banging the drum from the right-hand side, they are 2, 3, 4 blocks away from the main support of the Japanese fans in their thousands are on that far side. And you know that there were some England supporters who came over to Qatar and they were invited over by Qatar. I just
Qatar.
That said, I think that there is still a worry about, even if, as Chris says, there's been a lack of ambition from Japan, an old problem rearing its head, disallowed goal by Japan early in the first half, with just how vulnerable Germany looked on the counter. And this is one of the weaknesses of Hansi Flick, I would say, as a coach, is that he can be so attacking at times that at Bayern, he could get away with it because he had this wonderful defensive mop called Alphonso Davies. David Raum is good, but he is not nearly as quick as Alphonso Davies is. And yeah, that's just one thing for Germany, but overall, encouraging first half for them.
And on the One Love armband, the German Interior Minister, Nancy Faeser, shown wearing that One Love armband in the stadium. The German team, for their team photo, putting their hands over their mouths, very much like players talk to each other at the end of a game, actually. But the German football team Twitter account saying it wasn't about making a political statement, human rights are non-negotiable, that shouldn't be taken for granted, it still isn't the case. Sorry, that should be taken for granted, but it still isn't the case. That's why this message is so important to us. Denying us the armband is the same as denying us a voice. We stand by our position.
I think it's significant, this protest, but at the same time, I think when we look at what counts as being powerful in sport, you have to sacrifice something. And the question to the players at the heart of this whole armband saga was, how much do you care about what has happened for this tournament to take place? And I think that too much, they've wanted to have their cake and eat it. And look, would it have been more powerful had they gone ahead and won and worn the One Love armband? I think it would have been, because that would have been a direct contradiction. This, I think, works as a gesture, but it still does feel like it fits in too much with, everything else. I think you need to step over the line in a different way for it to really have a powerful effect.
Archie, for the moment, thank you very much. 3 minutes shy of 2 o'clock. Richard Foster has your news.
Take the World Cup with you. Qatar 2022.
On BBC Sounds, this is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Mark. Good afternoon. The Supreme Court has ruled that the Scottish Government can't hold an independence referendum without getting permission from Westminster. Judges have been asked to rule on whether Nicola Sturgeon's government will have the power to hold a vote next year. The city of Lviv in Ukraine is completely without power after widespread Russian missile strikes across the country. Moldova, which borders Ukraine, has also reported massive blackouts, but it hasn't been hit directly. New figures suggest the squeeze on people trying to get new mortgages has eased a little. The Financial Information Service Money Facts says the average 5-year fixed mortgage rate fell below 6% for the first time in 7 weeks yesterday. Royal Mail says it's made a best and final offer to staff aimed at preventing strike action by union members in the run up to Christmas. The deal includes a pay rise of up to 9% over 18 months and a new profit share scheme for workers. And the 110-metre high blast furnace at the former Teesside Steelworks has been demolished. Crowds gathered to watch the structure in Redcar come down, with the explosion heard 20 miles away. The steelworks closed in 2015.
This is a public service announcement.
Weekdays from 2. It's time for Scott Mills on Radio 2.
Would you mind doing me a quick review?
You're doing brilliant. I'm enjoying you on Radio 2.
You're a very nice man. Thank you very much. Every time this comes on Radio 2, I turn it right up.
The head's going, the shoulders go in. I'm like bouncing around on the seat. Probably one of the world's most embarrassing mums because of your show.
Scott Mills on Radio 2.
Tell all your friends on that school run to turn Radio 2 on as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Scott Mills all the way.
Weekdays from 2.
Listen live on BBC Sounds.
BBC 5 Live.
The FIFA World Cup, Qatar 2022, with Mark Chapman.
Unbelievable from
Amberley.
There are some scholars who say that choosing football as a profession is not permitted and is haram. And amongst them, one famous scholar is Sheikh Muhammad Ibn Ibrahim. And in his book, Fatwa Ibn Ibrahim, he gives various reasons why football as a profession is haram. I do agree with the great extent to Sheikh Muhammad Ibn Ibrahim. But what he's talking about football as a profession is on the very high level. I give them to a great extent on the high level professional level. If you become a world class football player, if you play for the World Cup or for the Euro Cup or that level, the top level, the top 4 or 5 football, on that level, he
Luis Enrique, who of course is twitching his way through this World Cup.
He's such an interesting character, isn't he, to watch down on the touchline. His contract, incidentally, is up at the end of the year, and he says he won't sign a new one until after the World Cup because if things go wrong, you, and by that he means the media, won't have to ask me to be fired. But yeah, I think what's so exciting about Spain at this tournament is what we saw at the Euros as well. And of course, they reached the semi-finals and only lost on penalties to Italy. Is that there is such a young attacking feel about this side, but it's a young attacking side that is already so experienced. I mean, you've got Pedri and Gavi who are doing so well at club level for Barcelona. And often when you talk about young sides coming into a tournament, you're looking for maybe players that people haven't heard of or ones that are going to take a tournament by storm. But that's it. When you look at the Spain side, you think, yes, although these players are still young, they feel as though they're already doing it on the big stage domestically, regularly, week in, week out for their clubs. A lot of them have had experience of the Euros as well last summer, and can they then go all the way? And let's not forget Spain's under-23s at the Olympics last summer as well, picked up the silver medal against Brazil. So it's this generation coming through, of course, with the experienced heads such as Sergio Busquets as well. But the mix is exciting, very exciting for Spain.
That game kicks off in 2 hours' time. It's 5 here in darkness has already fallen. Let's just switch to England. Jordan Pickford's been talking to the media ahead of Friday's game against the USA. He was asked how Harry Kane is doing after he had a scan on his right ankle.
I think he's good. Probably be a little bit sore, but I think he's fine. He's out on the grass today with us, so that's good. And he's our captain, and I think he's fine. Yeah.
That's a huge relief to a lot of people in this room and to England fans all around the place. I mean, there's so much talent in this England squad. So, I mean, no disrespect to anybody else in the squad, but is he the one player that's irreplaceable if he's injured?
No, I think everyone will take the chance. I think when Harry came off, about 70 minutes, Callum come on and played really well. Got the assist from Jackie, very unselfish, and gave Jack his goal. And I think everyone's training really hard. Everyone's here for a reason to play football, and but obviously Harry is an unbelievable player. He set the example in the squad. He's the leader, he's the captain. We all look up to him. But yeah, there's also opportunities for other lads as well.
Gareth already voiced concern that England were used as an example of a goal that shouldn't have stood in the referees' meeting. The penalty shout against Harry didn't go your way. How worried are you that England might face unfair treatment here?
Yeah, it got brought up in the referees' meeting, which we were involved in. But hopefully we get fair side of it. And it's never going to be perfect. I think you're never going to be happy all the time with VAR decisions. But I think Harry could have been a penalty from even my point of view. But yeah, you can't always be perfect from the referee's side. And just hopefully we'll get our decisions when we feel like we need them.
Jordan Pickford there. The main thing, Rob Green, on that is that Harry Kane is out on the grass despite having his scan.
Yes, and after the game he was seen wearing a light strapping. Now with an ankle injury, normally what you see is, even as a precautionary measure, the boot that we see so often with injured players on, having it put on just to make sure to keep it immobile, to take the weight off. That wasn't deemed necessary, so it clearly was a precautionary scan. Hearts are always in mouths, and I thought actually Jordan Pickford did quite well not to take that personally when they asked, is he the only player not to be irreplaceable? Thanks very much.
How would you have responded to that?
I wouldn't have been asked.
Well, there is strength and depth though at the keeper position, isn't there?
Yes, and you look at that, and you look at Harry Kane, and look at the qualities that he does have, and Callum Wilson has different qualities as a centre forward. Now, some games they might be more suited to Callum Wilson, but you would say the amount of goals purely alone that Harry Kane has brought in such important situations and such a big stage, that he is the man, and he will be for this tournament alone.
Yeah, but if they didn't need to risk him against the USA, maybe they could leave him out.
Get the points on the board, please, and get it over the line. And then, you know what, I think Wales turn around and say, actually, if you want to risk him for a game or to ease him off for a game, then let it be us. But yeah, get to 6 points. Let's move on and then take a call from there, because Monday to Friday is in the tournament stage quite a big gap for us. So there's enough time in there at the moment.
Okay, Vicky, Rob, thank you very much for the time being there. Your commentary team in 2 hours' time for Spain against Costa Rica, which is the other game in this Germany-Japan group. At half-time, Germany lead by a goal to nil. Chris talking about the prawn sandwich eating brigade during the first half. My researcher here during the course of that half tells me that you've been having quite a lot of prawn sandwiches on this trip.
Who told you that? Yeah,
your roommate.
Oh, did he? Yeah. I'm a one-trick pony, really. Well, I mean, I wouldn't. I'm surprised there with the amount he's eaten on this trip. So he needs to be careful, my roommate.
My other research tells me you have beef and cheese sandwiches, which sounds absolutely revolting.
Well, that's all. Yeah. Well, I got dumped the other evening by Bruce. He went out with John Murray and everybody else, but I was working, and so I had beef and cheese sandwiches for 2 nights on the spit. Really nice, actually. I'll make you one. I'll bring one down one evening.
You're absolutely fine, thanks. I'm okay on that. This game has got back underway. Ian, whenever you're ready. I was ready about 30 odd seconds ago, but I was quite enjoying the look on Chris's face when you took him by surprise talking about the prawn sandwich brigade. But I've got something important to say, is that we've had a substitution, and Tommy Yasu of Arsenal has come on, and he has replaced Kubo. So it's a defender for a midfielder. They've gone to
3 centre-halves.
Three centre-backs now, haven't they? So Sakai is the right wing-back. So Japan playing from left to right, Robles shirts, white shorts. Gonda is in goal. Sakai now as the right wing back, with Yoshida, Itakura and Tomiyasu as the 3 central defenders. Tomo is now playing as a left wing back, which then leaves Tanaka, Kamada and Endo in the midfield, with Maeda and Ito as the 2 up front. We'll run through the Germany side in a moment, but Germany are on the attack. And the shot coming in is blazed over by Gnabry, right-hand side of the penalty area. He went for glory there, so we'll get Chris's thoughts on that after their starting lineup as they play from right to left, with Neuer in goal, back four of Süle, Rudiger, Schlotterbeck and round the defence. Kimmich and Gundogan, the goal scorer from the penalty spot in the first half. Gnabry, Müller, Musiala and Havertz. Chris.
Yeah, Thomas Müller with a driving run, just popped the ball out right to Gnabry. There's an angle a little bit against him, from 12, 14 yards out, blazed the ball well over the bar. The Germans will be thinking, let's get another goal and put this game to bed. I don't know. All the keepers have change of system. I don't know what. They have to show more intent in this second half. They really do. Get support up to Dazen Maeda, who's been very, very isolated.
Germany then lead by a 1-0 in this, the second of 4 on what is day 4 of the World Cup. Morocco 0, Croatia 0 earlier. Spain, Costa Rica to come, followed by Belgium against Canada. As Japan play the ball back to Gonda, the keeper, who doesn't look at all.
I mean, Dazen Maeda isn't the biggest. Junior Ito isn't the biggest. And the ball launched downfield, and the German centre-halves are going to gobble that up all evening, aren't they?
Ball just lifted into the path of Gundogan inside the centre circle, and then Yoshida just steps forward, drills it quite hard and low into the feet of Kamada, and Japan unable to hold onto the ball once again. And just as we had in the first half, as a lot of supporters are still walking up and down the steps, coming back gangways, taking their seats, it's that subdued atmosphere once again, with the exception of that band of Japanese supporters detached away from the rather large bulk of blue on that far side. There was somebody who sent a message, it made me laugh, on social media. It was Keith Escott, who said, listening to 5 Live Sport, Chris Sutton and Ian Dennis on the Germany-Japan game. Guys, here is so bad. It's so bad I can hear what sounds like a bird song. I'll tell you what, that could be the next idea for the roommates, Bill and Ben, Chris Sutton and Alistair Bruce Ball, for the 5 Live Football Daily, or the World Daily, World Cup Daily. As a shot comes in on the edge of the area from Kamada, takes a deflection. You could do the birdie song in your matching pyjamas. Couldn't you?
Well, we'll have to get that alcohol license before we do that. But this Ito actually takes a tumble. He dives inside the box. He's better than that, Ito. It's simulation, World Cup simulation. They're calling out for that, but Japan have a corner. I may be wrong. I don't get this though.
In comes the corner from the far side, headed away by Müller.
They're not the biggest. The Germans have such a height advantage over Japan. They haven't tried to work anything short. The 3 corners I think Japan have had. Show a bit of invention.
Nagatomo heads it away. Yoshida loses the ball. It breaks towards Gundogan. 25 out from goal. Musiala flicks it along the ground towards Round. Level with the penalty area left-hand side. Musiala always looking with a real excellent footwork by Musiala. What a goal this could be! And he couldn't keep it down. He jinked his way in towards the penalty area. He weaved away from the challenge and then right-footed by the penalty spot. He got the conversion. It was over the crossbar. 1-0 Germany goal kick.
Oh, what a goal this would have been. It's almost as if the ball is glued to Musiala's foot. Chops inside at first, goes past 3-4 Japanese defenders and needs to show a bit more composure there. He ballooned the ball well over the bar when he should have scored. 12 yards out, big opportunity. Worked the opportunity superbly well for himself.
Germany still leading by a goal to 0, 7 minutes into the second half. Japan certainly don't have happy memories of Qatar. They refer to the tragedy of Doha. That's how many talk about a late 2-1 defeat against Iran, followed by a 2-2 draw with Iraq that cost Japan a place at the World Cup in the '94 version in the United States. And indeed, they actually lost to Qatar in the UAE in the Asian Cup final in 2019. And certainly here, just haven't really got going. Trailing by a goal to 0.
I don't know what brand of football they're trying to play. Haven't had any real patterns of play to get up the pitch. It's really quite odd. I didn't expect this performance to be this tepid from Japan. No real combination play, and they've got some really good technicians in that midfield. We spoke about Kamada. He played exceptionally well in the Bundesliga this season. Endo's a good player. Tanaka comfortable on the ball, but they haven't been willing to play.
Japan are coming forward now. Kamada forces the ball out to Sakai on this near side. Back towards Kamada. Side onto goal. Crosses the ball out towards the far side, and then it's volleyed out wide and out for a goal kick. And it goes out for a goal kick to Germany.
Yes, it does. They actually worked the ball pretty well into the box, and it's a decent cross from Tanaka, but just not able to hook the ball back across the 6 yards. But are we finally seeing Japan get after the Germans? And Neuer takes a chance. Heavy touch there away from Maid, who put him under pressure. Just a little bit of panic from Neuer.
Well, I wish I'd never read out that tweet about, if you pardon the expression, about the Verdi song. That was an unintentional pun, because I've now got the Verdi song in my head every time I can hear the person who's whistling. Germany 1, Japan 0. They finished second in their group for qualifying behind Saudi Arabia, but we saw the intensity and the energy of Saudi Arabia against Argentina, offside against Kamada. And that really has been lacking from Japan.
Yeah, look, as I said, in the first half, it's okay, you set up, you have a game plan, but the goal changes everything. Kamada there, really, it's a good line from the German line. Kamada makes his run too early. But maybe we're just seeing the signs of change now. Japan pressing the Germans higher up the pitch, trying to win the ball higher up the pitch, but it runs the risk of the Germans playing through them.
Well, they're coming forward now. They're looking threatening and round towards Havertz. Havertz, the creep off his line, won't get there for the second attempt. It comes out towards Musiala, tries to roll it in. Referee's blown his whistle. It was a late flag on the far side.
Yeah. Havertz has just made his movement too early, but I don't mind that. Japan pressing the Germans high up the pitch. Well, Havertz was actually onside there. That was a poor decision. The assistant waited and waited, gone to just gets there before Havertz, but that would have been an opportunity for the Germans.
That's the voice of Chris Sutton on BBC Radio 5 Live. Musiala back to Rudiger in the centre circle, and because of Maeda, goes all the way back to Manuel Neuer. What is his 7th major final, his 4th at a World Cup. Remember him in 2010, all those years ago back in South Africa, as there's a blow to the head there of Musiala, and that will mean there is a stoppage in play, and Japan are going to make another change. So we've already seen Tomiyasu come on at half-time for Japan, and now we are going to have Mitoma, who's done well for Brighton and Hove Albion. He has had a little bit of illness. That's the reason why he maybe didn't start the game. So he's going to be coming on, and also we're going to be seeing Asano. So these are two positive changes that are being made. Natomo is the player who's going to be coming off, and Maeda is the other player who's going to be coming off. So Asano will go on in place of Maeda, the Celtic player, and then I would imagine that Brighton's Karu Mitoma will fill in on that hand side as a left wing back. The changes that need to happen to try and produce something, and straight away Asano involved out towards Ito, right hand side, a good cross into Asano, throws himself at it near side of the 6-yard box, heads it out of play for a goal kick.
Yeah, lively start from Asano, just pops it out wide, and there's a good early cross in. Asano had made his run beyond the near post, level with the point of the 6-yard box, and couldn't get his head up on target. But this is better from Japan, not letting the Germans have it all their own way, really pressing them high up the pitch, not backing off. Surprised they didn't take this tactic in the first half.
So he has gone over on there, hasn't he? It is like for Mitoma to replace Nagatomo as the left wing back. He's one of Pat Nevin's new favourite players, Mitoma. When he's seen him, in fact, before he actually seen him at Brighton, he was on loan at Union Saint-Gilloise in Belgium last year. He's a left winger, really has impressed. Certainly caught the eye of Pat Nevin. 2 goals in his 11 appearances. Just only a couple of Premier League starts, though, as he's been eased into life in the Premier League down on the South Coast, as Japan are hoping that he can make some sort of impression as they look for an equaliser. And Germany won't be comfortable until they get that insurance of a second goal. Leading 1-0 as we approach the hour mark, and Musiala just about kept the ball in play on this near side, the left corner of the area. As support always from Round. His cross headed down by Tomiyasu. Can't hold on to the ball, those blue shirts of Japan. And now it is with Kimmich, diagonal ball. Gundogan. Still don't feel, though, that Germany have been stretched yet in this contest. Certainly Musiala, always a threat, has some support. It's Gundogan! And Gundogan hits the base of the right-hand post. Beautiful little layoff by Musiala. And Gundogan so close to getting a second goal and also increasing Germany's lead, but denied by the post.
Yeah, but it's really good build-up play. He drifts superbly, Gundogan. Do you know what he should score? Wonderful touch into his path, and he's just trying to slip the ball inside Gonda's far post. The ball cannons off the left-hand post and wide. The Germans should be out of sight.
Here is Gundogan once again, midway through the Japan half. He finds Gnabry, tries for the cutback, almost came back to Gnabry, and then it's going to be run out of defence by Mitoma, almost runs himself into some trouble. And then he's played the ball out wide towards that far side, and Tomiyasu looking now towards Mitoma, who's got a bit of space to run into, and all of a sudden it's 3 against 4. Germany do have it's 3 against 3 now. And it's now with Asano, who shoots. And Neuer watches the ball go across his goal and well off target, out for a goal kick.
Never look comfortable. That's a big chance for Japan, and that's all it takes, isn't it? The Germans only one up. Matoma pops the ball out, left-hand side of the box. It's a decent enough first touch from Asano, but just leans back. Got to work Neuer in that situation. Got to hit the target. Real lack of conviction with that effort.
He too plays his football in Germany for Bochum. Ito, right-hand side. Ito's low cross strikes the body of Schlotterbeck. They're just starting to get a little bit of I wouldn't say a foothold, it's a toe in the game maybe for Japan.
Yeah, but this may suit Germany. Hansi Flick, happy to go toe-to-toe. It's the way he managed in Munich. But Japan have to take a risk. They need to get back into the game, and they may feel that they can hurt this German team if the Germans aren't clinical.
Well, Asano has got a little bit of Musiala just caught by Itakura. That'll be a free kick. We haven't had a yellow card in the contest so far, and the Salvadorian referee Ivan Barton will not show one on this occasion. It's just a friendly, gentle talking to the Japanese defender.
So clever, isn't he? Musiala on that half turn has that awareness just out of the corner of his eye. You'll see. Sees Itakura coming to try and nick the ball off him in front of him. Lets it run across his body. Takes it on the back foot, draws the foul.
Certainly look very, very sharp, that is for sure. Here is Gundogan on the halfway line. Nice. Almost coming to a standstill now, Gundogan. So there's no pressure on the ball whatsoever from Japan. They've got every player back behind the ball towards Rudiger. Short diagonal ball to Gundogan. Kimmich, and then played back to Schlotterbeck. And as Chris mentioned, at times it looks like they are playing with three central defenders. That's going to be offside against Havertz.
Terrible run from Havertz. I mean, blimey. Goes so early. Just needs to bend his run a little bit more. It's not a natural in that number 9 position. It's a bit of a problem area for the German team. Some brilliant centre forwards over the years, Ian. Germans,
yeah.
More of a big, bulky types, closer. Bierhoff. Maybe what they're lacking.
Yeah, well, the lad who scored on his debut, Nicholas Füllkrug, has certainly had an impressive season so far for Werder Bremen. Second half substitute against Oman. Scored on his debut.
Such an important game for the Germans, that, wasn't it?
Don't you start. I've had Kelly sending me messages as well, taking the mickey. Laid off by Itu. Forward ball by Tomiyasu. And Asano won't get there. Rudiger came across and snuffed out the danger. He had been a doubt. He hadn't played up until last Thursday, their own warm-up game for Japan, and since the 10th of September, with a right knee problem for Takuma Asano. But the Bochum striker is rapid, and certainly he showed his pace there, but Rudiger was equal to it. Germany still lead by 1-0. Here, little touch, played out on this right-hand side for Sakai. But it's offside. It'll be a free kick to Germany.
Do you think the Germans could get a little bit nervous at 1-0? Do Germans get nervous, Ian?
Well, they're going to freshen things up. I know that for a fact. They're going to make a couple of changes themselves. Goretzka's going to be coming on, and we are also going to be seeing Jonas Hoffmann, who's going to be coming on too. That's right. He will be coming on to the field of play. Playing defence or midfield, Jonas Hoffmann. Supporters on the far side who are now trying to whip up another Mexican way. But I've just been so disappointed with Japan. They might still get something from the game. There's 25 minutes remaining. Let's see what happens. Trailing by a goal to nil. Sakai plays it back. Goes to a central area. Matomo. Now with Tanaka. Tomiyasu. Along the ground. Asano turns, shoots. Gets a corner kick as well.
Better. Yeah, you said about Japan getting a foothold in this game. They're taking the game to Germany. I feel their confidence may just be growing. Need to try and create something clear cut. I don't get this. They have to play it short. They may score direct from a header, but the Germans are just so much bigger.
Corner kick for Japan. Swung over deep, and the header for Takura at the far side of the penalty area. It was unmarked, and it was headed away by Schlotterbeck.
Pulled it behind Musiala, didn't he? Hit beyond the far post, and Musiala not looking at the ball, just looking at Itakura. Itakura tries to go back across, does the right thing, but it was Schlotterbeck slotting that header away.
Well, you talked before about the German centre forwards who've gone before. Miroslav Klose, famous Gerd Müller, Jürgen Klinsmann. They've scored only more goals than Thomas Müller for Germany at World Cup finals, but Müller unable to add to his tally of 10. He has come off to be replaced by Jonas Hoffmann. And then the other change is Gundogan, like for like really. Gundogan being replaced by Goretzka of Bayern Munich in the midfield. So two changes made by Germany. And we're midway through the second half here on BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds. And it's still Germany leading through that Gundogan first half penalty. Remember, by the way, as well, when you're watching games on BBC television, I mean, 5 Live and BBC Sounds have every game. But when it's on BBC TV, you can watch and listen with a 5 Live commentary. You just have to look out for the World Cup Extra on the BBC iPlayer. It gives you that option.
Yeah, Goretzka's just slotted in behind Kimmich.
Sakai's header forward. Asano in towards the penalty area. Took it first time. Tightly marked by Rudiger. Comes behind it. Asano has made a difference since he's come onto the field and played corner kick for Japan.
He has made a difference, but you've got to say the Japanese have been much better in this second half. They've shown more intent, and Rudiger does really well, but the ball headed from Sakai into Asano, angle against him. Rudiger stands up and makes the block, but confidence growing.
Daichi Kamada with the corner kick. It's an outswinger right-hand side. Itakura was there once again and scooped up by Neuer. Just wouldn't really drop towards the central defender as it's rolled out underarm towards Sula. And he trots forward and still at a walking pace with Kimmich to Schlotterbeck. Still don't feel that Germany have really got out of first gear throughout this game.
No, but as I said before, they won that second goal. They've had pretty much control of this game. You can see the Japanese pushing now and really getting after Germany in the middle of the park.
2018 was only the second time in Germany's illustrious World Cup history that they had not reached the quarterfinals. 1938 was the other occasion. This is their 20th World Cup appearance, only the second team to reach such a landmark after Brazil. They are serial challengers. Musiala, central position. Kimmich with a chip over. Gnabry with a layoff. Good save by the goalkeeper to keep out Hoffmann. Still the German threat remains. Gnabry's shot curling, beaten away by Gonda once more. Musiala now picks it up left-hand side. Raum runs forward, down towards the byline with the cross in the area. Gonda again with a save from Gnabry and a second save from Gonda. And Gnabry can't believe it. Great work by Gonda. Golden work by Gonda. goal kick, corner kick.
Great work by Gonda. Great stuff. 4 saves in quick succession. It's a brilliant ball from Kimmich initially. Gnabry, really unselfish, pops the ball back to Hoffman. Gonda down to his left-hand side. Then they recycle the ball. Gonda again, down to his right-hand side this time. Ball comes out, Musiala pops it out wide. Raum with the cross in. Powerful header, left-hand side again. Big left hand, and then he body on the line. How crucial could those saves be from Gonda the Great?
I thought you were going to say Gonda the Wonder. Corner kick for Germany. He needs to be alert. Still leading by a goal to nil. Right-hand side, over the head of Schlotterbeck, over the head of Rudiger. And out it goes for a throw to Germany on this near side. There is activity on the Japan bench down below. They still have 2 more opportunities to make further changes, does their coach Moriyasu. As it's with Raum. Back it goes to Schlotterbeck.
I said last night, I mean, I'm sick and tired of the amount of these substitutions. It's really hard work, isn't it? Being a
The hard work comes when they then add on about 13 minutes as a result of 3 substitutions. Germany still lead by a goal to nil. We have 18 minutes remaining.
There we go. They're livening up the Japanese team now. Must be a foul from Goretzka. I think there was talk, wasn't there, before the game about Gundogan ended up with the goal past Gonda, but Goretzka, whether it be Goretzka or Gundogan.
Doan came on to replace Tanaka in the midfield. So yet it's another player who plays in Germany. 24-year-old, normally plays on the right for Freiburg, who've actually done well. They were second in the Bundesliga before the World Cup break. So they've made a number of changes now to try and get this equaliser in the second half. Here is Endo. Forward. Opportunity for Japan. What a save from Neuer! And then it comes out. And I think it might have been, was it Tomiyasu who's put it over the top from close range? What a save from Neuer. The concentration levels must be so great. He's had nothing to do throughout the game. It's a one-handed save, but the loose ball should have been buried.
Right, it's a brilliant save.
It was Sakai.
Yeah, Sakai. But it's the initial save. It actually takes a deflection off Rudiger's left foot, and then Sakai. I think Asana's in his way, maybe, but Sakai should have buried that, balloons the ball with the bar. That was the chance that Japan needed, and they didn't take it.
When you think of the heroics, the double, Japan still being in the contest. So this is going to be their final change that they can make for Japan. And it's gone off. He had been playing as a right wing back. He had that golden chance to get the equaliser. And he will be ruining that missed opportunity. He's been consoled as he makes his way to the bench. What if? What if Hiroki Sakai had scored from close range there? Have a few options as an attacking team. Matoma, left-hand side, runs forward, edge of the area. Minamino is there, but safe, loose ball, tucked in. Japan have got the equaliser. It's a substitute, Doan. Football in Germany has equalised against Germany. 1-1.
And what have we learned in the last few minutes? Japan can play brave on the ball, becoming desperate, taking risks. Played the way beautifully up the pitch, worked it down the left-hand side brilliantly. And Neuer makes a decent save initially with his left hand, but with the save, he pushes it out so alert. He can't really miss, but he's proactive. Falls for him 6-7 yards out, just lifts the ball into the roof of the net. Japan level, Japan back in it. Japan can play.
Well, certainly Moriyasu, the coach, has been vindicated with the changes that he's made. All three substitutes, or three of the substitutes involved. Matoma of Brighton, Minamino's shot was then pushed out by three of the substitutes involved. Matoma of Brighton, Minamino's shot was then pushed out by Neuer, and then Ritsu Duan with the equalising goal. Neuer, and then Ritsu Duan with the equalising goal. And here in the Khalifa International Stadium in the opening game in Group E, Germany have been pegged back by Japan. We saw how they gave Belgium a scare at the last World Cup. On that occasion, it was Japan who squandered a two-goal lead, and Belgium fought back. On this occasion, it's Japan who've shown the resilience and the character to get themselves back on level terms.
And you go back to those saves, those 4 saves from Gonda in quick succession. But isn't it amazing now, the urgency with which Japan are playing, the intensity which they're playing? But can the Germans respond and get themselves back in front?
Gnabry to Kimmich. Dispossessed by Matoma, who'll run forward over on that far side. And Matoma is over the halfway line for Japan. He's got some support going through the middle with Asano. The ball, though, he'll hang on to it on that left-hand side. Germany, who hit that post through Gundogan on the hour mark. That was a chance for the insurance goal. They were unable to take it. As now, Dohan lifts the ball forward towards Minamino on that far side. Matoma. They're waiting to make a double change. Our is going to be coming on. All of a sudden, it's Minamino into the penalty area once again and out for a goal kick.
Tell you what, they're rattled, aren't they, the Germans? They really are. Japan got that confidence, popping the ball about, and they look the more likely team.
Well, this is a little bit of a fairy tale for Mario Götze. Scored the winning goal at the World Cup in 2010, making his return after 5 years. So Mario Götze back involved on the World Cup stage. He probably didn't think that was likely to happen. And Nicholas Füllkrug, who's a little bit of a throwback, isn't he, in terms of a burly centre forward of Werder Bremen, comes on. So Füllkrug replaces Havertz, and Götze has come on for Musiala, who was unable, for all the promise that he showed, to get a goal. Gnabry's now playing on the left-hand side. And here is Gnabry, and we've got just over 10 minutes remaining, and Germany now on a kick.
Yeah, if you were to pick a winner now, Ian, who would you pick? Come on.
I would say it's going to finish 1-1.
That's a massive offensive there, isn't it? Who has the momentum? Japan have the momentum, but Germany have a corner.
It's Kimmich to take it. Kimmich with the corner kick on the left-hand side over the head. Should just say, of course, it was Götze who scored the winning goal in the 2014 World Cup final. He was 18 years of age when he was selected for the World Cup in 2010. But it still caps a remarkable return for him, doesn't it? Now he's playing with Eintracht Frankfurt.
He absolutely doesn't. Can he find the finishing touch for the Germans this evening? Good group this, isn't it? It really is. This was the one I was fascinated with and slightly worried. I actually predicted a Japan win against Germany. Didn't show any real quality in the first half, but showing the quality now.
What a ball that is. Forward through towards Ito. It was played out from the back by Itakura. And Neuer had to be alert. 9 minutes remain of normal time. Bearing in mind we had 4 minutes of stoppage time in the first half when there was no substitutions. And we've had 1, 2, 3, we've had at least 7 in the second half, not including the Tomiyasu one at half time. We could have about 10 minutes of added on time. It's anybody's guess. 1-1.
A really good piece of combination play down that right-hand side. The enormous Sula and Hoffman, clever little 1-2. Hoffman in shape to hit a cross in. It's gone behind for a corner to Germany. Fancy them from set plays, Ian, the Germans.
Fulkrug is there, Schlotterbeck up from the back, Rudiger also. Fulkrug makes a run towards the near side of the 6-yard post. Germany in their white shirts, or predominantly white shirts and black shorts. Corner kick far side to right, in it goes, headed out by Ito, headed further away by Asano on the edge of the area. Sule heads it out wide to this near side for Raum, who plays it down the line. Goetze lets it come across his body, and it'll go out for a Germany throw that Raum, level the area, wants to take. 1-1 on BBC Radio 5 Live and also available on BBC Sounds. As there was a challenge from Schlotterbeck, and that was on Endo, and it goes out of play for a throw to Japan.
Yeah, just another lull within the stadium now. Maybe a lull before the final surge from both teams.
But the lull doesn't do justice to the finish that we have got.
No.
1-1 and chances at both ends. The atmosphere doesn't do the finish justice. Lovely touch by Asano. Enter the penalty. Asano! What a finish! Oh my word! What a sting in the tail! But what a touch! High ball downfield. Asano killed it dead right-footed and then rifled the ball past Neuer. And Germany now are facing back-to-back defeats in a World Cup for the first time since 78 and 82. They were humiliated in Russia, and now they face embarrassment by losing another game in the opening match here in Doha. But what a touch, what a finish, what a story.
Yeah, what dreadful defending from the Germans. I'm not so sure it was a free kick. Anyway, it's just one ball, which does for the Germans. Asano gets the wrong side of Schlotterbeck, drives into the box, and then lifts the ball into the roof of the angle against him. Neuer nowhere. What a comeback. They parked the bus in the first half, break up in the second half, and Japan in front.
He looks onside. They are looking, I think, for an offside, but I think he was played on. But it was the high ball.
What a touch. What a first touch. Unbelievable first touch. Takes him on the inside of Schlotterbeck. Has a little look. He's still got a lot to do. Neuer makes himself big. But Asano into the roof of the net. Stunning finish.
Well. They finished behind Saudi Arabia in their qualifying group. But the Asian sides are producing the shocks. Saudi Arabia yesterday, Japan today, both coming from behind. It wasn't a key feature at all. It didn't happen in the last Euros last year. Teams didn't come from behind to win games in the group stages. Germany now looking for a riposte. And it comes in, free kick, touch out, goes for a corner.
Great ball in from Raum. Whizzed in. Bit of urgency now from the Germans. Kimmich going over to take the corner. I don't know whether it did come off the Japanese head. Japanese claiming it was a goal kick.
This is the third team that has come from behind. The previous two have won. As a cross comes in on that far side with the corner kick. Challenge on the edge of the area. Goetze was there, hammered away by Yoshida.
It's anywhere will do now.
We saw it yesterday. Saudi Arabia come from behind to beat Argentina. France came from behind to beat Australia.
But when you saw the Japanese display in the first half, I mean, it's incredible. We don't want to use that yet. Game of two halves, but I've seen enough. I mean, up at Celtic, Hatate, Kyogo, good technical players, and you're thinking You know, if they can't get in this squad, they must have some players we know, the likes of Kamada, are super talented, but they've just shown a bit of belief, got on the ball, played, and cut through the Germans easily in this second half.
They lulled Germany into a false sense of security. Although, to be fair to Germany, Gundogan had the chance. You think back to that excellent double save from Gonda, but then we did say we wondered if there might be a change even then, when they were just starting to get going. But the changes have been perfect from Moriyasu.
And maybe it was the perfect plan from Moriyasu. This is how he saw it working out. Change of formation at half-time. They have been better. They've grown in belief. And what have you got, Germany?
Germany unable to break off from the shackles of that embarrassment in Russia 4 years ago. And in a difficult group, they would then be under real pressure with games to come against Spain on Sunday and then Costa Rica next Thursday, the 1st of December. Germany, who are always there or thereabouts when it comes to the last knockings of a world, 30s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, 2000 and 2010. But the start of 2020, they were leading by a goal to nil, and now they are trailing by 2 goals to 1.
You're just seeing the Asana goal again. It was Sula on the far side, the German right back who was playing him on. Clever run, but one ball, the German line not good enough. What a moment.
He's made such a difference. Goes down under the challenge of a penalty there. It was Asana who laid it off into the path of Doan, who got the equaliser, and Doan went down. There are boos and whistles inside the Khalifa Stadium. They think that should have been a penalty.
I think my first impression was simulation from Doan.
It'll be being checked. Moriyasu in his dark suit is walking down the touchline.
Here we go.
Plays back underway. It has been checked and it must have been dismissed. 2-1 to Japan.
He's better than that, Doan is. Don't do it, Doan.
Germany looking for an equaliser in the closing stages. Kimmich, Trudiger. Every outfield player in the Japan half, whereas Germany played from right to left. Japan defending deep. Hoffman touches it to Sula, the right back. Inside now towards Kimmich. Sula won't get too further forward, I wouldn't have thought, with the...
But they actually don't look like they're good enough at this moment in time to play through the Japanese. They look shell-shocked, don't they?
Well, the one player who did was Musiala, who's come off the field of play.
As Hansi Flick messed up with his substitutions.
Yusufa Moukoko is coming on now, the Borussia Dortmund player. And he has replaced Gnabry. So the
Fulcrum with an opportunity from across with a header. That's a difficult header. He's 13, 14 yards out and heads the ball level with the penalty spot. Heads the ball past Gonda's left-hand post.
I know you dismissed the Oman warm-up game last week, but Moukoko certainly wouldn't dismiss it because he actually became the youngest player to make his Germany debut since Uwe Seeler back in 1954 when he appeared against Oman last week. And the amount of stoppage time isn't as great as I was expecting. 7 minutes, which we're now into. 7 minutes of stoppage time of Germany 1, Japan 2, live on 5 Live. And BBC Sounds, and the nature of BBC Sounds, you can rewind it. So if you've missed that Japan goal, then if you want to listen to Chris Sutton laughing again at the German demise, then do so once again. Disrespectful, I know, but listen back to it through BBC Sounds.
You're better than that, Ian.
Here is Kimmich.
My wife's part German. Come on, you're better than that.
Germany will hope that they're better than that as they try and get themselves back on level terms.
You said that they had an advantage because of that game, that friendly game against Oman, who are ranked 75th in the world.
Hoffman out towards Sula. Hoffman can't get past Matoma. Far side, the right. Germany get a throw level in the penalty area. The first minute of 7 has elapsed.
I think there's a...
Tomiyasu is down.
And this won't be cramp.
He has had a calf issue. But I think by my calculations, they have used all of their substitutions. Because obviously Tomiyasu came on at the start of the second half. They then had the two, Asano and Matoma.
But it's a good shout, actually, Ian, but he's just got to hang on in there. And if it is a calf injury, then I'm not a medical expert, but it's unlikely. If there's a tear or whatever, he's unlikely to play again in this tournament. So better off seeing this through, winning the game, worrying about that after.
Plenty of support for Japan. That was a loose ball at the back from Sula, seized upon by Asano, who waits for the supporting run of Doan on this near right-hand side, level with the German penalty area, plays it on the inside. Endo tried to thread it through to Minamino. Germany get it out of their defence. Hoffman. But whilst Japan's substitutions have worked to a positive effect, Germany just seem to have lost a lot of their rhythm since their substitutions have been made. They now go long, up towards Fulcrum, heads it on. Mukoku picks it up on this near left-hand side, delivers a low ball in. It might fall here to Goretzka.
They want a penalty, the Germans.
Matoma took it off the toes of Goretzka, who was trying to shake to shoot.
Fulcrum asking for a penalty. Wonder whether they're checking this.
Yoshida is having a word with the Salvadorian referee.
Let's have a look. Well, I don't think they can give that. It's Yoshida. Fulcrum, shoulder to shoulder. I'd be really surprised if this is given.
Play back underway. Didn't really have too much of a look at that. 3.5 minutes of the 7 to go. Japan still lead by 2-1. Round. Such a threat in the second half.
Ito doing his job there. Stop the cross. The Germans got some big guys in there.
Throw that Raum will go back to Schlotterbeck. Neuer is up in the centre circle, incidentally. Rudiger, he's going to shoot from distance, and he's pulled it well wide.
That's a goal kick. Ridiculous from Rudiger. Tries to ping that in from 30 yards. No. Gonda, what a game he's had. He did give away the penalty, but those saves, succession of 4 saves. It'll be Gonda the Great back in Japan.
We have under 3 minutes remaining. Gonda, the player who Chris Sutton's just been talking about, downfield. Out it goes for a Germany throw. Spain, Costa Rica, Belgium, Canada to come. And this will be the story on day 4 of the World Cup, you would think. Germany go long. Fulkrug attacks it. First time hit, just wide. Running onto it was Goretzka, right-footed. Struck it on the half volley, but it must have been half a yard wide of the left-hand post.
Yeah, it's a straight ball into Fulkrug. This is his game. This is what he's good at. He just peels away from the centre half. Little knockdown. Goretzka onto it. He's unlucky. On the half volley, laces the ball. It's not far away. Gonda taking his time. It's nearly it. Long ball up the pitch.
78, they lost to Austria in Argentina. They opened up the World Cup in 82 where they lost to Algeria. That was the last time that Germany lost back-to-back matches in the World Cup.
Oh, Neuer's average goal again.
Neuer out of his penalty area this time to try and prevent Asano from getting there. He feeds it forward to Schlotterbeck. Launches the ball long. Hoffman jumps in the air, right corner of the penalty area, and it runs out of play. It's a Japan throw.
Yeah, and Rudiger has gone up as a centre forward. The Germans have gone Wimbledon style, just launching it into the box. What a victory this would be for Japan if they can hold on.
What a victory it is for the continent of Asia as well. For Saudi Arabia yesterday to trump Argentina from coming from behind.
I don't think that's a foul. Rudiger goes down easily. Neuer's gone forward. What happens next?
We know what happens next. History could be repeating itself. It's a free kick to Germany. We have 30 seconds remaining of stoppage time. Neuer is up from the back. Japan have their blue shirt back inside the penalty area. Japan have come from, they lead by 2 goals to 1. Now or never, you would think, for Die Mannschaft. They have the free kick on the right-hand side. Minamino just one in the wall. Neuer currently unmarked, adjusting his socks, his yellow socks, all in yellow. Stands out quite brightly as we look towards the penalty area. By my watch, the 7 minutes are over. This might be it for Germany to try and salvage something. In it comes now from the free kick. Neuer throws himself at it, comes out towards Müller.
He's going to stay up. He was inches away from hitting that in, Neuer.
Last touch of a Japanese defender. Sula wins a corner. Neuer couldn't get on the end of it. There's a player down, might be 2 players down inside the 6-yard box.
Oh, he's not far away, is he? Was it Yoshida who just gets a touch? Neuer would have been in. The Japanese bench celebrate. They've still got work to do.
Of the minute 7, we're now 8 minutes in of injury time. Germany looking for a dramatic equaliser. Kimmich with a corner, in-swinger, punched out by Gonda. Hoffman, almost on the halfway line, plays it out towards the right-hand side. Neuer is now going back towards the penalty area. Germany get a throw for the Salvadorian referee. Blows his whistle. Japan celebrates. And Germany, if you think back to 2018, that was their first opening game defeat since 1982, and they have now suffered back-to-back losses at the start of 2 successive World Cups. They were leading, they hit the post, they couldn't get the second goal. Gonda was great in the Japan defence, and then came the substitutes with 2 goals in the space of 8 minutes to give Japan a famous win, 2-1.
What a strange World Cup. What a strange game, a game of 2 halves. Japan not in it in the first half. Germany get in front, you think, second half they're controlling it, should have been game over. You're right about the Gonda saves. And then all of a sudden, Japan get the confidence, they show they can play. Doan, good substitution, pops up with a goal, and then Asana, brilliant goal, brilliant finish, lifts the ball into the roof of the net pass. Neuer, and then the Germans got desperate. I thought Hansi Flick's substitutions were pretty woeful, really. They went direct at the end, but Japan held out. And this group, I said before the game, really interesting group. Spain, Germany, Costa Rica, and Japan. And Japan have made their mark now, and the Germans have work to do.
Flick's first major tournament ends in failure. Japan, they're all smiles down below. What a scoreline. What a story. It's finished Germany 1, Japan 2.
And what a World Cup this is turning out to be. A real upset today with Japan getting their first ever win against Germany. The Japan players still on the pitch, still celebrating, still absolutely delighted with that result and that performance. As you said, they're in a group with Spain and Costa Rica. That game is coming up at 4 o'clock. At 7 o'clock is Belgium against Canada. And who would bet against there being upsets in either of those 2 games? This one, though, about that performance. Ian Dennis, just imagine how much worse this could have been for Germany if they hadn't had that friendly against Oman.
Oh, don't use Tom Kelly.
Listen, Chris,
I thought you were better than that.
We will get on to Germany and what that means for them very shortly. But Chris, I mean, you've thoroughly enjoyed watching the turnaround in that game. The way that Japan played, the substitution, Minamino coming on, just seemed to spark them into life. Within a minute, they were level, and then a few minutes later,
Stowen and Asano and Minamino, and it worked in their favour. It really did. They got back in it, and then there was a feeling inside the stadium, both teams going toe to toe. There was this belief then from Japan, and really quick thinking with the free kick. And Asano, it's a brilliant first touch which took him away from Schlotterbeck, but then he had a little look, and his finish was clinical. And this group now is wide open, and Hansi Flick and his German team under real pressure. They had so much control. You couldn't see them losing this game after 60 minutes, but lost it they did, and they've got real work on their hands now to get out of this group. Japan in a wonderful position. What a strange World Cup we have had so far.
and those Japan players, Dano, in a huddle now at the edge of the pitch.
Yeah, they are. Everybody's involved. The substitutes, the players who are out on the pitch, the backroom staff in their tracksuits, the management in their dark suits. I mean, terrific victory for them, because you couldn't have foreseen this scoreline at half time. They had no ambition, they had no adventure. But to credit the coach, Moriyasu, every one of his substitutions paid off. And they grew in confidence, took the goals ever so well. The winning goal from Asano, the first touch is a delight, and then he runs away and then rifles the ball inside the near post by Goya. But even before that, you've got to give out a shout out to Suichi Gonda, the goalkeeper, because he's been the number one keeper under Asu, and I thought he would pick, because he made a double save when Germany was still leading 1-0. That was the turning point. We said it in commentary. You just wonder if something was going to happen, and it proved to be an incredible comeback, and like you say, another upset at a World Cup that certainly doesn't have any shortage of stories.
Pat Nevin is here in the studio in Doha with me as well. Pat, we were saying last night when Australia were playing, if you were Scottish and Scotland not being at this World Cup, there is a huge connection between Australia and Scottish football. So that might be a way in to supporting a team in this World Cup. Japan have all those Celtic players in there as well.
Well, I thought
maybe not one of the best ones.
Yeah, I mean, oddly, it's like they put me off. I love Japanese football, and I love the energy that they bring to the game. However, the fact that they didn't, bring Furuhashi Kyogo stunned most people in Scotland, and certainly me as well. It's a wee bit miffed about it. But then if you can go and do that, what they've just done, then I'll forgive them for it. Maeda was up front anyway, the Celtic player, and what he did, the running he put in the first half. Now, it was almost pointless around that, almost near the score, and it was offside though. Work that hard. They are all technically good. And I heard the lads talking about it. Have a look at the bench. These are nomads, and they use the bench. Again, I'm saying exactly what Chris and Deno's just said. How well they used that bench was astonishing. And it's going to be one of the most important things in this World Cup. As we go on, use the bench well, because you get tired players because it's the middle of the season.
And that's how you get an upset with Japan, with that victory over Germany for the first time ever. Everybody loves an upset. Not everybody loves it as much as these Japanese commentators.
背中のボールをキープする。手中に入ってきた。シュート。決まった。2対1。
Mo got in touch on social media to say second half masterclass from the Japan manager, Rupesh. What an amazing display of grit and passion at football. And Sheila got in touch to say she's in an airport waiting for a flight to Japan, cheering along with all the other Japan fans. What a turnaround that was. What an atmosphere there must have been, surrounded by fans who wanted them to get that result against Germany. And they did it, Chris, as Pat was saying there. It's built on a solid foundation. These are players who, for years, have been talked about as good technical players, but maybe haven't delivered on their ability. There's something else in this squad.
Yeah, absolutely. It just surprised me they took so long to get. And when they got they had to play with a bit of desperation because they came from behind. And look, they're not the biggest team, so you know they had to be brave on the ball and courageous, and they showed they can play. You know, got some excellent players. The substitutions made a difference, but you know, the longer the game where you felt something was going to happen, and second half performance, they thoroughly deserved it. I suppose scratcher is why didn't they show that confidence in the first half at times? But no, absolutely brilliant. I loved the second goal, the way he took it, the confidence, the touch, and actually saw it through pretty comfortable. The Germans, Hansi Flick, you know, you talk about one substitute, getting the substitutions right. Hansi Flick substitutions, you know, he brought on a couple of big burly centre forwards. Rudiger went up front and they went direct, where they had real control in the game for an hour and cut through Japan at times. It was very basic towards the end, and it wasn't such a shock for me to see Japan winning. I predicted it, Kelly, in my predictions. What was the shock for me was Japan taking so long to get going and show that they
The World Cup in 2018 was when Manuel Neuer decided that he was going to make an amazing run up the wing to his son, because you were commentating on that match. I thought you were going to get a big Manuel Neuer moment at the end of this one.
I think Yoshida just imagine he was right behind him, and then he stayed up for the corner, and you thought maybe Japan. I mean, it would have been lovely. I've got nothing against Neuer, but it would have been lovely had Japan just waltzed up the other end when he was out of his goal and popped it in. It didn't, it didn't matter in the end. But he's very watchable.
So you predicted it. Archie Rintut said that Germany would be susceptible to the counter-attack, and Archie is with us now. Archie, it's exactly as you predicted.
I didn't see that coming at half time, though, Kelly. I have to be honest, given how encouraging that first half display was from Germany, how in control. In that second half, when Thomas Muller went off, Germany lost something. And to be honest, the biggest surprise when this lineup was named was Nico Schlotterbeck's inclusion. In 6 Germany caps, he's conceded 3 penalties. So I think that was definitely running